Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Valentine expansion for the World of Tanks miniatures game. And this is one of the Wave 1 expansions. And I love these packaging, how you can see the tank from all the sides. And I know I've said that on all of these, but it's only the Wave 1 ones. I promise I won't continue talking about it. But it's really cool to be able to look at it in detail. And on the back here we have a nice list of all the components that are in there. So we will get right in and take a look. So as with all our other tanks, on this little insert on the inside is some information on how to claim the codes, which will be attached here at the bottom. Mine are torn off, you can see there. And those codes come on a little card like this. On the top here is a new code for new players who are interested in the World of Tanks video game. It gives you a premium tank, a garage slot, 7 days of premium access, and 500 gold. On the bottom is a temporary code. It's a one-use for existing players to give you 1 day of premium, a large repair kit, and some combat rations. That's why I'm covering that one up. But feel free to use the top one if you are a new player and check out the video game. It's kind of fun, especially around the tier 5 is my favorite. So check it out if you're interested, and feel free to share that code with people too. So the first thing we have here is our vehicle card, and I gotta say I feel a little sorry for the Britons in this game so far. While everybody else got tank destroyers, while the Americans got the Lee, which is a medium that can be used as a tank destroyer, but yeah, they got the Lee, which has the assault gun. We got the Stug, which has the assault gun. The Russians got the SU-100, which is an assault gun. And the British got a light tank. So, seems a little unfair, but anyway, up here we have our British faction, Valentine. It is an arrow shot and fortress, which we'll get to. It is a tier 4 tank. It is a light tank. It's the first light tank we've seen. 33 points. You have 4 firepower, which seems pretty standard now. 1 survivability, 1 mobility, which seems very strange for a light tank. 4 initiative. Down here you have your 4 hit points, and you have a commander, gunner, radio operator. Guy's got a lot of jobs. A driver and a loader, so it's a small crew for a small tank. On the back side, you have your history of the tank right here. Up in this corner, we have arrow shot. So when attacking, you must modify a critical into a hit. So because you're using a smaller, lower caliber gun, you're less likely to do that critical damage. So always, if you roll a critical, one of them needs to be turned back into a normal hit. Not too horrible, but it is a detriment. And this one's kind of odd, but it makes sense for this tank because it was kind of built like a fortress. It's a good example for it. But when this tank is the target of a side shot, you do not subtract a defense dice. So the opposite of what some of the tank destroyers are, where they have the light blank armor, this basically has reinforced side armor, so that shooting at the side is almost the same as shooting at the front, so you don't gain that bonus. It only counts on a side shot, though. The rear still gets the penalty as normal. And up here we have our light tank, and light tanks, when friendly tanks shoot at a tank within close range of a light tank, they gain +1 attack. So basically it's like a recon. You're relaying position, so your friendly tanks that shoot at the tank that's nearby you gain bonuses, which is kind of cool. On to our upgrades. You can see one of our upgrades here has the light bulb on the back, meaning that it has to be played face up. And that's because it changes our gun. So we can change our stock gun out for a 2-pounder. At 1 point, it gives you -1 to your attack, but +4 to your initiative. So you're going to boost that initiative all the way up to an 8, which means you're probably going to be moving first and shooting first, unless other people are doing things. But it drops this 4 attack down to a 3, which isn't horrible. Like I said, 4 is pretty average now, so that's a pretty nice card. Next we have Sixth Sense, which is a commander upgrade for 6 points. At the start of the shooting phase, you roll a die, and on a hit or a crit, this tank can make a single move. It does not count towards your move token for the turn, so basically it gives you a free move, similar to the Blitzkrieg ability in the old game for the Germans. That one's pretty cool though. Next we have Build the Tanks with CO2, which is an equipment upgrade cost for 1 point. It's discarded when used, and it cancels the lucky hit critical card, which causes your tank to catch on fire or something. I'm not positive. Still, it's nice to have. It's basically a free repair to a crit. It ignores whatever the crit does. And the trade-off is at 1 point, so if you have an extra point, throw it on there. The real big difference is you're counting on getting hit with a critical and drawing the lucky hit critical card. So the chances of that happening are pretty slim. But if you have the extra point, why not, just in case that happens? Next we have the GMC 6004 671A engine. That's a mouthful. And it is a British only upgrade for 3 points. And it says here it's +2 to your initiative during the movement phase. So again, you can boost that 4 initiative up even higher. Combine this with the gun upgrade, you can make that into a 10 initiative, at least during the movement phase. And then finally we have Philip Young, who's a unique crewman. He's a loader for 2 points, can only be on a British tank. And he has safe stowage, so you get +1 initiative during the shooting phase. You can discard this card to cancel an ammo damage critical card. It also gives you a bonus to repair. You can attempt to repair an additional crit each turn. Very nice. And then we have our Valentine model. This is another one I didn't have in the original game, so I have nothing to compare it to, but as with all the others, it looks pretty solid. I don't see any real gaps in the molding either, which is nice. But it is considerably smaller than the other tanks too. I like a little light. Makes it feel like a light. It's nice. So this is really my first foray into light tanks. I think I might have had an Italian one for the original game. I can't remember if those were light or not. Could have been. But anyway, I liked the new rules that they added for the game. It's on the flip side, but for the basically scout rule for the light tanks, where they can give their friendly tanks bonuses to shoot at targets. That's pretty cool, very thematic. The one thing that just strikes me as odd in this one is the 1 movement for a scout, but it might have something to do with the Valentine. I'm not that familiar with that tank in general, but it could be that it was a slower model tank. But I would expect light tanks to have at least a 2, if not a 3 for mobility, so that's kind of interesting. And I'm sure somebody will post down in the comments to tell me why, but that's my guess, is that it was probably a slower tank to begin with. But the option to downgrade the gun, basically, to get that extra initiative is cool. Allowing you to move. You want this tank to move last so that you can get it in position so it's within range 1 of a enemy tank, so that all your other tanks get the bonuses to shoot at it. So there's that to it. And the optional loader there to boost up your shooting initiative, as well as countering that ammo damage card is nice. And of course the extra turn to repair, because you really don't want to be sitting like you get a broken track, you're kind of screwed. So you want those upgrades on there to really get the most out of this. But I guess that's probably true with any light tank. Overall though, it looks like an interesting addition to the British tanks. I'm just kind of sad they seem to have gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to first wave expansions. And maybe that'll balance out later on. Maybe the Cromwell is that much better than the other starter tanks, that this kind of balances out. It really all comes down to the upgrades that you put on them and how you use them too. But I do like I said, the scouting thing I think works well. And it'll be an interesting addition to your platoon. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for our look at the Valentine for World of Tanks miniatures games. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.